I declined my dream job because I was scared. I fear it may have ruined my career because of my generalized anxiety and lack of confidence in myself. It's a competitive job market for that profession, with maybe one or two jobs advertised a year, with hundreds of candidates for each. Needless to say, only the most talented, tenacious people and people willing to move geographically can make it. Last year, I already turned down a good offer because I was too scared and depressed at the idea of moving out by myself across the ocean. It was just too much to handle. I started therapy to help me cope with this situation. She helped me realize that my anxiety had made me see my work situation as worse than what it actually was. However, medication didn't help. One thing that did help was meeting a wonderful person and beginning to date them. A few months ago, I saw a job offer for my dream job in a decent city in another country. I applied and unexpectedly got the job. Unfortunately, I freaked out. I got scared of moving again in another country, got extremely distressed at the idea of dealing with administrative visa issues and new work settings. I got scared that I would not be good enough. Finally, I got scared I was going to screw up my new relationship. I got scared of so many things I couldn't even feel that it was my dream job anymore, if that makes sense. I was hoping my therapist would help me, but she stayed neutral and said that those were valid reasons not to take up the offer. I tried really hard to accept the offer, but in the end declined it. I immediately regretted it, but it was too late. Long story short, I keep sabotaging my career by declining job offers because I'm scared of moving again, and more generally because of my anxiety. And I have no one else to blame but myself, and I don't know how to cope. How does one make life-changing decisions when irrational fears get in the way? Here's my take on this. This person's more than qualified to do the work. Like, even the people that are willing to hire them haven't even seen them perform yet, and just by their resume alone, they push past hundreds of applicants to choose them. But when the moment came to say yes, they couldn't do it. So the ability is not the issue. Something else took over at the point of actually accepting the offer, and this is the second time that it's happened. Here's what may be going on in the background. The brain doesn't optimize for happiness, it optimizes for familiarity, meaning a situation that you don't like but know how to navigate can feel safer to the nervous system than a situation that you want but have never lived in. So the brain does something really specific at that decision point. It amplifies every concern that supports staying where you are. In this case, the visa logistics, the relationship, and the fear of not being good enough. And there's a reason why this happens so fast that you don't catch it. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for threat detection, processes information faster than the prefrontal cortex, which handles reasoning and decision making. When the offer is presented to you, the amygdala flags every little change as a threat to the way you currently live, causing your body to be flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, bringing your brain into a protective state. In that state, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision making, doesn't shut off, but it switches roles. Instead of seeing the opportunity for what it is, its job becomes helping the amygdala find logical reasons that the threat is real. So it's still coming up with rational sounding thoughts, but it's operating in service of fear rather than independent of it. That's why the reasons to stay feel so valid in the moment, because the thinking brain is still online. It's just working for the wrong side. So if you recognize this, not necessarily with jobs, but with anything that you've wanted and backed away from the moment it became available to you, here's something worth understanding. The fear that you feel in that moment is not about the opportunity. It's about the identity and lifestyle changes that opportunity requires. And your nervous system's way of protecting you from that change is creating rational sounding reasons to stay. So the next time something you want becomes real and you start finding reasons to sabotage it, think about how long you spent wanting it or working toward it. Think about what you imagined when nothing was on the line. None of those concerns were there then. They showed up the moment the thing you've been working toward was actually available to you. If the reasons to say no only appeared at the same time as your chance to say yes, that's not you thinking clearly. That's the mechanism doing its job. But just knowing this isn't going to help. So here's what you can actually do. Take the decision out of your body and put it on paper. Draw two columns. On the left, write down what your life would look like in 6 months if you said no. Be specific. The same routine, the same habits, the same feeling that you have right now hearing this. On the right, write down what your life looks like in 6 months after you say yes. Even the hard parts, like the discomfort of what it takes to actually change. And then the new aspects, your new environment, your new body, your new friends, the version of your life you're longing for in the first place. This works because in the moment of deciding, your brain is only calculating the immediate cost of saying yes, the disruption of your current lifestyle and everything that's unknown. Writing both futures out forces the prefrontal cortex to extend the timeline past the discomfort and compare the full picture. Then show the list to somebody you trust to make it visible outside of your own head. Fear-based rationalizations survive in isolation. They weaken when you say them out loud to another person, because hearing yourself list the reasons to stay while looking at what staying actually costs changes how convincing those reasons feel. Their question was, how does one make life-changing decisions when irrational fears get in the way? It's to make a decision from a wider view than the one that your fear is offering you in that moment. Most short-term costs don't matter in 6 months. Now, my question is, when is the last time you've regretted receiving something that you genuinely wanted? Drink water.